Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from Yahuwah. He's our Father. And Yahusha, who is the Mashayah, the one that carries the burden of Yah, his voice, our high priest, soon coming king. Hear, O Yesharo, Yahuwah, who is our mighty one. He is one. Let me make a proclamation to you today. There is no mighty one but Yahuwah, and Yahusha is his prophet. This is Brother David coming to you again to ask a question. How do I keep Yah's Shabbats? It's been the primary question that I've received over the years. The Father has raised me up to teach the ancient way, the old way, which is the good way, so that we may find this Shabbat rest for our souls. So listen and live, brothers and sisters, for the Shabbat day is a sign. It's a badge. It's plastered in your forehead between him and you. Without this badge, without this sign, you will not make it into the kingdom of heaven. So remember the Shabbat day. How do you remember something that we forgot? Let's begin. Jubilees, chapter 6, verse 34 to 35. Jubilees is one of the most popular books amongst the Hebrews, the children of Yeshua. It's not popular amongst the Gentiles. It teaches a totally different way of life. Verse 34. And all the children of Yeshua will forget and will not find a path of years. So we forgot how to calculate the years. Is that true? Yes. Think about it within yourself. Do you know how to calculate the years? The children of Yeshua in ancient times, they knew. Look what else. And will forget the new moons. We're just rediscovering the new moons. And seasons. The word is not seasons. The word is muad yam. The translator put seasons. Muad yam means something different. It means the appointed times, the feast days, not seasons. Look what else. And Shabbats. Oh, we didn't forget the Shabbats. That's what people are saying in their mind. I keep a Saturday Sabbath. That's on Pope Gregory's calendar. Pope Gregory is a Roman. These are your enemies. They are the ones who came down upon our family members with great slaughter. They were the ones who evicted us from the land. These same people were the ones who also gave authorization to all the Gentile nations to come to Africa, where you were hiding for 1,260 years, and bring you into captivity as slaves. And yet, we're following their Saturday Sabbath and their Sunday Sabbath. And we think we remember, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years. Is that true? Most of us don't even know that the Jews, the Israelite brothers, and many other people on the internet are adding months to the calendar, which does not line up with the lunar or the solar event. They've gone wrong. Their calculations is all over the place. So when you're looking for a feast day and you go on the internet and you follow these Gentiles or these brothers who say that they know the way, you're going to be wrong and you will be in error. Verse 35, for I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto you, and it is not of mine own devising. For the book lies written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of days is ordained. Who is it that's in the heavens looking at the heavenly tablets? His name is Hanuk. You know him as Enoch. He's telling you that the division of days is ordained. Yet, men, let me spell it out clearly. The white man has changed the division of days, not in the heavens, but here on earth. How did he do that? He created a calendar, Pope Gregory's calendar, and bypassed the heavenly tablets and the division of days. Let's get back to us. Lest they, who is they? The children of Yeshua, forget what? The feast, the Muad Yom, of the covenant. Did we forget it? We celebrated Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, all of the feasts of the Gentiles. But yet we did not keep Passover, the Feast of Weeks, or the Feast of Tabernacles. We forgot the Feast of the Covenant. And we walked according to the feasts of the Gentiles after their era. Anyone who follows a Saturday or a Sunday Sabbath is in error. And believe me, we all were in error. I kept Sunday Sabbath, and when I came to the way, I kept Saturday Sabbath until the Father spoke to me one night in a dream and told me that your Sabbath and your feast days are wrong. And I began to correct my behavior and went searching for the old way, which is the good way, so that we can have this Shabbat rest for our souls. And after their ignorance, you see the word ignorance? In the beginning of the word, you see ignore. They have ignored the book altogether. Altogether. And came from the imagination of their minds and created their own days. So here you have it. If you think that you know, and you did not do a thorough investigation of this book, you are in error, and you are ignorant. Exodus chapter 31, verses 12 to 13. Verse 12. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe, saying, the master of the universe, the creator of all things, he that is seated upon the throne is speaking. Everyone must be quiet, be still, and listen, if you respect him. Verse 13. Speak also unto the children of Yeshua. There's your target group. No one else. Moshe, the one that we call Moses, spoke to no other group of people but his own bloodline. Yes. Saying, verily, my Shabbats you shall keep. My is a pronoun. It's a possessive pronoun. Yah has his own Shabbats. He's telling you right here that there shall be other Shabbats out there. He wants you to keep his Shabbats. What other Shabbats are there out? What other Shabbats are out there, Brother David? Sunday Sabbath, Saturday Sabbath. None of them pertain to Yahuwah. They pertain to the Gentiles. You know, the ones who destroyed us. You're right now in the land of your captivity. Where they hate you. Listen to me. You cannot keep the Shabbats of the Gentiles. You must return to the old way, which is the good way, so that you may find rest for your souls. There was never any such calendar as Pope Gregory's calendar over 3,000 years ago when the covenant was passed out. It all came from your captors, from your enemies. They know that as long as you keep the Shabbats that is on their calendar and do not return to Yah's Shabbats, they will be in power. But we have returned to the old way, a few of us, a remnant, which is the good way, so that we may find this Shabbat rest for our souls. For it is a sign between me and you. If you're not keeping that Shabbat that he placed in the sky for the whole world to see, that shows you each Shabbat day, you're keeping a Shabbat of the Gentiles. Remember, the whole reason that we forgot and will not find the path of years, and that we forgot the new moons, the Shabbats, and the Muad Yam, is because we were following the feast days of the Gentiles. Very easy to correct, isn't it? Do not follow the feasts of the Gentiles, but follow the Shabbats and the feast days that are in the Bible. They all start from the renewed moon, from Hadash. Throughout your generations, this is perpetual. You have to keep his Shabbats forever, that you may know that I am Yahuwah, that sanctifies you. He signed his name in the end. And he said he set you apart from the whole world. You're not to keep a Shabbat on Pope Gregory's calendar, but you are to look up for that great sign that is in the sky. Verse 14. You shall keep the Shabbat, therefore, every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahuwah, and it is he who is speaking, is divine law. Only the Gentiles say that the law has been abolished. If you say that or have ever said that, you were against Yahuwah himself, he who is seated upon the throne. For it is holy, it is set apart, it is different for you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. Here's the penalty. Keep a Saturday Sabbath or a Sunday Sabbath. Here's your penalty. It's death. How do you defile the Sabbath or the Shabbat, Brother David? Whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. If you're on Pope Gregory's calendar and you're not on the lunar calendar, you're going to be working on the Shabbat day, on YAH'S day. And that is a fact. Verse 15. Let's look at this. 6 days may work be done. Here's your 6 working days. But in the 7th is the Shabbat of rest. Listen, that's why you're returning to the old ways, which is the good way, so that you can find the Shabbat rest for your soul. It's holy. It's set apart to Yahuwah. Pope Gregory's calendar is not set apart to Yahuwah. You're totally out of his instructions. The new moon, the 6 working days, and then the Shabbat is all through your Bible. Yet, we ignored it because we were ignorant. Whosoever doeth any work in the Shabbat day, here's the penalty, he shall surely be put to death. Now, do you see why the numbers will be so strong, so small? It's only a remnant that's going to return. Most of the people will deny Yah and his Shabbats and gravitate towards the Gentiles' Shabbats. Listen to me. Whosever Shabbat you serve is the mighty one that you serve on that day. So if you're on Pope Gregory's calendar doing Saturday or Sunday, you're serving Satan's day. Verse 16. Wherefore, the children of Yasharel shall keep the Shabbat. He didn't mention anyone else, did he? The children of Yasharel are the only ones who took the covenant. The children of Yasharel are the only people that he chose. Listen to what he said. No one else. The people of Yasharel, or the children of Yasharel, were chosen out of all bloodlines on this earth to represent Yahuwah. What did we do? We dropped the ball. And we turned and started following the feast of the Gentiles. To observe the Shabbat. How do you observe the Shabbat? In order for us to find the first Shabbat day of the month, don't we have to look for Hadash, the renewed moon? Don't we? The gates of the temple are open on New Moon's day. Then they are shut the 6 working days, and the 7th day after the 6 working days, the gates of the temple are open again, and the people would return and pray at the east gate. You have to see it and follow it. To observe the Shabbat throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant, that is forever. Even though you're in the land of your captivity, you still have to keep his Shabbat days. It is a sign between you and him. Don't you want to return home? Well, he told Moshe to test us and see if we will keep his commandments or not. And if you are not keeping the primary commandment that is in this book, you have denied him altogether. And if you're keeping a Shabbat that is on another calendar, Pope Gregory's calendar, or any other calendar, besides looking up in the moon and counting the days, you will not make it into the kingdom of heaven. I promise you that. Verse 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Yasharel. Let's see. Can I change this a little bit for you? It is a sign between me and the Europeans. Did he say that? No. He said the children of Yasharel. And this time the children of Yasharel will be in the land of their captivity. Do you know of any other people who've been in the land of their captivity for 400 years? It's a sign between me and the children of Africa, Ham? No, he didn't say that. It is a sign between me and the children of Shem? He didn't say that. He only mentioned one bloodline. Came from the seed of Abraham. Came down to the one we call Jacob, whose name was Jacob, who was changed to Yasharel. He is the patriarch, and it is his bloodline, 12 sons, that Yahuwah chose from amongst all bloodlines on the earth to be his people. And they fooled us and tricked us and told us that the Jews were his people. But the Jews are not proclaiming that they are the children of Yasharel. They say that they are Israel. They do not proclaim that they are keeping the covenant. They said that they're following something called Judaism, Talmud, so on and so forth. They're not even a part of anything that we should be worried about, that they replaced us. They didn't replace us. They created their own religion. It's called Judaism. Has nothing to do with us. And the day that they keep for their Shabbat is on Saturday. For in 6 days Yahuwah made heaven and earth. Hey, was there a Pope Gregory's calendar? In the beginning, when the Father made the heavens and the earth, and on the Shabbat day, the 7th day, he rested. No, he didn't rest. He ceased from his labor, and it was good. Leviticus chapter 23, verses 1 to 3. Verse 1. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe. He who is seated upon the throne, speaking again. Let's listen. Saying, verse 2, speak unto the children of Yasharel. Why did he need Moses to speak to them? Why didn't he speak directly to the children of Yasharel? They were afraid of what they were seeing in the sky, these great lights. Just think, if they were afraid at what they were seeing, and it was their deliverance that they were looking at, what do you think is going to happen when the world see these great lights in the sky? There shall be fear and trembling. But here you have your target group. Only one people, the children of Yasharel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of Yahuwah, we're about to get an education, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Those are gatherings. Where's that going to happen? In the kingdom. Where will it be? At the temple. Even. The word even is an Old English word. It means indeed. Indeed, these are my feasts. My is a pronoun. It's a possessive pronoun. The feasts that are about to be listed are the feasts of Yahuwah. Look at the first feast. Verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Shabbat of rest. Hey, that sounds like the regular weekly Shabbat. Yahuwah is saying that this is his feast. Will you deny it? Hey, how do you find a feast day? The moon is the sign of feast, a light that wanes in its perfection. The only way to find any of YAH'S feast days is through the moon. He put it in the sky for the whole world to see. No one can go up and change it. Because he knew in these last days that your enemies, my enemies, his enemies, are going to work hard to change all of his creation. So if you can only find the feast days through the moon, the only way to find the Shabbat is through that same lunar event. And that's a fact. I can show you over and over during this series. I'm going to show you that the Shabbat is found through the moon. It's a holy convocation. It's a gathering. You shall do no work therein. Do you remember the penalty phase? If you're on Pope Gregory's calendar and not following the lunar event in the sky, you will be doing work on the Shabbat day. That soul shall be cut off from the congregation. He shall be put to death. It is the Shabbat of Yahuwah in all your dwellings. It's to be carried out in your home. You see that? Stay home, brothers and sisters. You're running the street all the time. Here the Father has given you rest. But in order to find the Shabbat rest, you have to do it His way. Not the way of the Gentiles. Pope Gregory's calendar did not exist in the time that Yahuwah was speaking unto Moshe. The Father set up the moon to be that great sign. And it's all over your Bible. You have Hidash, the renewed moon. The gates of the temple are open on that day, the beginning of your month. Then you start your 6 working days in the evening. The gates of the temple are shut. Then on the 7th day, the gates of the temple are open. And the people gathered at the east gate, and they prayed before Yahuwah. That is the way that the Father set up His feast. We're going to get deep into this. Continue to part 2. Shalom.